Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Victory Monday. Philadelphia Eagles with their 8th consecutive win. So we're here. We're going to break down the huge Eagles win versus Baltimore. We got a little bit of a kind of a hot hockey team right now. Flyers are starting to play some good hockey. In fact, if the season ended today, I think they're actually in a playoff spot or close to a playoff spot. So we'll show the Flyers a little bit of love, and we'll get into a bunch of stuff here. But hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I know my Thanksgiving was awesome. I not only was Thanksgiving great, but I had a great weekend. Got to go up the mountains for a little bit, and that was an awesome time. So nothing better than a good weekend getaway, and then you come home to a big win in Baltimore.
Oh, absolutely. You know it. Can't complain about that.
Yeah, so we're gonna get all into it here. I got my man Sean Kilrain with me. Diego may be hopping on a little later, so we'll see if he hops on. But yeah, man. So we got like I said, lot of there's some good. Forget the Sixers, but other than that, there's some good things going on in Philadelphia sports. I mean, you got a football team that's won 8 in a row, red hot, a good hockey team. We'll start off with the Eagles, though, obviously, because they're probably the top story. They're definitely the top story. Sean, impressions of yesterday's game, going down to Baltimore, beating a really good Ravens team. What's your number one impression?
Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
Wow. Whether it's goal line or just midfield, anywhere on that field, the kid is strong. He has great hands, great technique. And, if you guys watch Wally's breakdown, I mean, he just says it perfectly himself. I mean, if you haven't seen it, check it out. I mean, the kid's special. He's only going to get better, and you can see it in his face. He's having fun, chirping at Lamar, but Lamar's chirping at him. I mean, that's what it's all about, just a childhood game, but it's the big show, And Zach Bond, like I said to you before we got on the show, wow, 13 tackles. That's don't lie, man. I mean, and then it's just a blessing. I know you'll probably hit on it. Saquon Barkley, man. God damn, he's special. I mean, another 100 yards rushing, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say, not just that, because I mean you're looking at Saquon Barkley here, 23 carries, 107 yards. 4.7 yards per carry, 1 touchdown versus Baltimore. And, Baltimore was the number 1 ranked rush defense in the NFL. So, the Ravens don't give up a lot of rushing.
So they do not.
I gotta give kudos to Kellen Moore, to be honest with you, and the Eagles offensive staff, because, it was tough sledding there for a while for Saquon. You know what I mean? But they stuck with the running game. They kept at it. And in the fourth quarter, I think what did he have? About 65 of his 107 were in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he was churning out those big runs. Most of them were first downs.
Yeah, so that's that's the mark of a winning team. A team with conviction. And you got to give credit to the offensive line, like you were talking about before the show, like Baldy's breakdowns. I checked it out on X. Of course, Zach Bond, obviously defensively, but he had a breakdown in particular of Mekhi Becton, and basically,
I've seen that too.
Mekhi Becton did a great job. I mean, think about it, dude. I mean, this is a guy like Jeff Stoutland. You know what I mean? Like the offensive line coach,
Stoutland, you baby.
He gets kudos all the time, but what a job he's doing. I mean, Mekhi Becton's never played guard in his life, and he's playing probably at a Pro Bowl level.
Yes, he is.
And he played great. Road grader. The one run he showed in particular was the run by Jalen Hurts. It was like a design quarterback draw. He runs right through there. I think the next play Saquon ran to the same side, ran for the touchdown. So.
It's just amazing, like you said, Joe. Stoutland, you. And just like he said earlier in the season, all these backups, he considers them starters. And these guys, it's next man up mentality. It's like, damn, you
Yeah.
know, it's
Here's our man. Here's our man Chris Rapizzi. Yo, what's up, dog? How you doing? Thursday night game, Detroit and Green Bay means so much. Yeah, because the bottom line is if Green Bay beats Detroit, the Eagles control their destiny for the number 1 seed. So we really need Detroit to take a nice L. And I'll tell you, not to get sidetracked on the Eagles here, but I mean, what's up with Chicago's coach? I mean, Chicago, what a way to screw up. What a way to screw up that game. Like, how do you do that? There was like 30 some seconds left, and they had a timeout. I mean, Matt Eberflus got fired on Friday, and he still had his timeout in his pocket.
Yeah, I mean, it goes from him, it goes from Caleb Williams, but most importantly, like you said, Joey, it's the coach.
Mm-hmm.
As the coach to say, look, timeout, boom, go get it going. Nah, that wasn't Caleb Williams. He's acting like, we got so much time on the clock. He's clapping. I'm like, damn, dude, this is going to be their demise. And sure enough, it was.
Because I really wanted to see that go to overtime. I mean, Detroit might have won in overtime anyway, but it would have been nice to see them get, take a nice L. You know what I mean? But
true.
And we could blame that on the coach as much as we want. And of course it ultimately was blamed on the coach. I mean, he got shit canned the next day. But the bottom line is, though, I know Caleb Williams is a rookie, but come on, dog. I mean, you've played enough football in your life. Like that's where like you gotta know. You gotta know in your head, like, dude, you know what? My coach screwed this up. Screw it. I'm calling the timeout. You know what I mean? Or that was ridiculous, bro.
Way short and sweet, it. Dude, you're that good, the damn quarterback. They drafted you number 1 for a reason. So seize the moment and do it. They're both at fault, but most importantly, it's the head coach. But shit, take the reins, run, do something. And after the fact, man, teammates were jawing at the coach, like telling the truth.
Matt Eberflus turned into Mr. Coach Klein.
Yeah,
the water boy. He couldn't figure out how to call his play. Like, somebody stole his lunch money, bro.
Yeah.
Here's our man Mike Fuji. He was actually down Baltimore yesterday. He said, "What's good, fellas? How you doing? Big win in Baltimore. Hell yeah, dog." I know that was one thing you could see through the TV. There was tons of Eagles fans down there.
Fuji was down there, and then Chris brought up a great thing with Cooper DeJean's tackle on Henry. That's like the icing on the cake, cherry on top.
That was a big time play. I mean, the one thing about Cooper DeJean, I mean, he is just like he's just a football player, man. Like, you watch that kid play, not only is he good in coverage, but like you touched on it yesterday, like the tackle, he's fundamentally sound. I mean, that was a fundamental tackle. Like, he went right in there. It was like a Madden hit stick,
That's how you tackle. That's how you want people to tackle, not a Chuck Cecil, like a heated missile, or the guy yesterday, Al Shahir or whatever, from Houston. That shit you don't do. That comes from poor coaching, But, man, he got the whole sideline and the fans hyped up with that. And to do it to King Henry. Enough said.
Yeah, you know what I thought, Sean? I thought I was seeing an Archbishop Ryan number 33, Killer Kilrain going in there making that tackle.
Yeah. I said my brother, he's wearing 33 very well. But nah, he's the man. I like him. Even from his playing days at Ohio. The kid's special.
Really. Yeah, man. Yeah. So so obviously there's tons of positives from yesterday. We go, Saquon, offensive line, Jalen Carter, you brought up. I thought Nolan Smith had a couple. Each week Nolan Smith starting to flash a little bit. And you know, and even Jalix Hunt, you know, Jalix Hunt played about half the snaps yesterday.
Yeah.
And you don't really see it too much like on the stat sheet, but there was a couple plays I think he had like where he I think one play in particular, like he set the edge where they tried to run outside on him. He kind of he like what do you call it? He like
Giver.
he juked the tackle,
got
made the
under.
tackle. So he, you know, Jalix Hunt's playing some good football. Hang on, I got a comment here. Here's our man Mike Laura. What's up, boys? I'm off to Erie, PA to plow some snow tomorrow morning. What's up, Mike? How you doing, brother? Mike. Hey, safe driving out there. Don't get stuck on what was I think I saw on I think I saw on my phone there was like all kinds of cars trapped stuck on like I-80 or something out there. I-80 or I-90 out there, like, you know, in that area. So
well, good thing we're down here, right?
Yeah, make that money, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, it's that was a cool game. You know, looking at the league too. I watched a little bit of that Buffalo. I fell asleep, but I watched a little bit of that Buffalo San Francisco game. That was so cool to watch. Like I you know, to this day, like it reminds me of like John Facenda and like the old NFL films where you're watching games in the snow. You know what I mean?
And the play-by-play, yeah. I mean, yeah. Doesn't get no better. James Cook had a hell of a game. And the play that I liked before I shut it off was Shakir to Josh Allen.
Yeah.
You know.
How about the 49ers too? Because I've grown to love the 49ers the last few years, and they really, you know, they really really are having a tough year. What are they, 5-7 now? I mean, I know they got a lot of injuries, and McCaffrey got hurt last night, so they look like they're pretty much done, which I'm glad. But I was kind of hoping that maybe they could do us a solid and beat Detroit, but I don't know about that.
Yeah, you never know. You never know, but you're right.
Yeah, well, this won't help. Chris Rapizzi says McCaffrey's out at least 6 weeks, can't stay healthy.
And that was an impact injury too.
Another injury here. Chris Rapizzi's asking, what's going on, 49ers, Dallas Goedert? Any news on his knee? I didn't hear anything in the press conference, so I don't know.
Short-term IR they're thinking about.
He's another guy. I mean, it's a shame. He's a good player, but a lot of unfortunate things. He just can't seem to stay on the field, unfortunately. Yeah. Mike Laura says Penn State versus Oregon Saturday night. That should be a good game.
Oregon.
Mike Laura says he called the 49ers downfall. Yeah, I remember. I saw that, Mike. I saw you say it on him and Pat's show when they had their show that Mike was calling the Niners downfall. And you know what? Here's the thing too. Like, you kind of see it a little bit this year with the Chiefs. Like, and I know the Chiefs are finding ways to win these games. Maybe being gifted some of these games, like you sent me, Sean.
That good.
But
into it, that was gifted.
Yeah, right. But the I guess the point is, though, if you look at the 49ers, you know, you figure they played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl 2019.
Yeah.
You know, they're in the championship game 2021. They're in the championship game 2022. They're in the Super Bowl last year. I mean, you know, a lot of that nucleus played a lot of games the last like 5 years or so, 5-6 years. And the same thing with the Chiefs. I mean, you know, obviously not all those guys were on all those teams, but some of them dudes were. And you know, that you think about it, dude, there's a war of attrition. I mean, that's a lot of football to play in like a 4 or 5 year span. Yeah. And it's not to make excuses, but it stands to reason that there's some wear and tear on your body. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the Niners got their ass kicked. I was happy to see that. But yeah, like I said, like getting back to this Eagles game, any other big impressions?
Stupid penalties, man, will kill you, man, in the first quarter. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You know, special teams is, you know, stupidity with their penalties. But yeah, Kelly Ringo's hit out of bounds. Come on, man. But
how about? I mean, I'm not usually one to cry about the refs, and I'm not going to cry
Yeah,
about the refs here. But how the hell is it that the Ravens like lead the league in holding penalties, and like Jalen Carter and like Milton Williams? I saw at least 3 or 4 times where their jerseys were like literally like practically ripped off, and they didn't call one holding penalty against them.
exactly. I just was going to say that. Yeah, it's atrocious, you know. But
But I got a question on the bottom there. So getting back to Saquon, uh, now the one thing that's going to hurt him. I have a question right there as far as MVP
uh
question mark. Like,
yeah,
yesterday's game's going to help Saquon. The only unfortunate thing, I guess, for him is that Josh Allen happened to play on Sunday night, and he kind of had a few MVP moments too. So, but what do you think? I mean, you think that seems to be like the hot topic. Like, do you think if you think Saquon has any chance to win the MVP? I mean, I feel like he's got to get at least over 2,000 yards to have a shot. Being a running back.
true, very true. I see with this Carolina Panthers game, it should be not so to speak a walk in the park, but a good stat game for him. Pittsburgh is it's going to be he's going to be balling. But yeah, I hope he's going to get MVP. He's just that special player, man. From his runs to his blocks to his catching as a running back out the backfield, it's something special, man. And that GM is probably killing himself, like to be that stupid to let that caliber of a player go. You know.
Yeah, like, listen, I agree with you because he's a great player, but in all fairness, though, I mean, the Giants Giants don't have a quarterback. Their offensive line blows.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So as good as Saquon is, uh, we can rip them for letting them go. Obviously, it's easy for us to rip the Giants, and
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we,
yeah, yeah.
and,
Absolutely.
and we hate the Giants, so it's easy to rip the shit out of them for being like, "Oh, you guys are so stupid for letting Saquon go." But the bottom line is, though, he wouldn't be having the success up there as he's having here. I mean, here he's got. I mean, I know Devontae Smith's been hurt, but I mean, when he's healthy, he's got two really good wide receivers. Good quarterback, great offensive line. The defense can't totally key on him because otherwise they're going to give up tons of passing yards. You know what I mean? Like we're up at the Meadowlands. I mean, that's all they had to worry about with Saquon Barkley. With a shitty offensive line, and then the other thing is the Giants blow, so they're falling behind. So Saquon can't carry the ball 20, 25 times a game because they're losing. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't know. Like, I would love to pile on their GM and be like, dude, you're really stupid for letting him go. But I don't know if I can. You know what I'm saying? Like, because what would be the point of them paying him 13, 12, whatever he gets, 10 million, 12 million a year to what? To blow? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, absolutely.
It's easy for us to rip them. I mean, but hey, you know what? Well, let's rip away because screw them. I hate the Giants. So
Paris Campbell got waived,
okay,
so that means probably Devontae Smith's coming closer back to starting lineup, which is nice.
yeah. Well, they're playing Carolina, so let's kind of look ahead a little bit. I
Yeah,
mean, the Eagles. We dispatched the Baltimore. You got a tough. Well, I'm not going to say a tough. I mean, although I'll tell you what, Carolina, for as bad as Carolina is, the last month or so, they've played people a lot tougher. I mean, you figure last week they barely lose to the Chiefs, and then this week they take a lead on Tampa with like 30 seconds left. Tampa has to kick a
and
last second 57-yard field goal to force overtime, and then Tampa beats them in overtime. So
Chuba Hubbard fumbled. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, you know. I think we should kick Carolina's ass, especially with as hot as we've been.
but you can't
But
take teams for granted, like you said, Joey, before. They're the ones that nip you in the ass and kick you in the balls. So
yeah, so I'm looking. I'm looking here. Carolina is, I'm sorry. Eagles are right now 12.5 point favorite on FanDuel. What are you thinking? I mean, is this a rocking chair ride? Is this is this an easy cover, or is this the kind of game where maybe it's a little closer than we like?
It's probably closer than we like. You know, you're going to have this team want to, like I said, be the shocker team and knock off the big dogs, the NFC East. Can't take any team for granted in my eyes. Adam Thielen's balling. The kid Leggett is doing good. Chuba Hubbard is probably the unsung hero running back for them. Bryce Young getting benched. He's starting to, come into his own.
Yeah.
Hearing he's getting traded, he's getting benched or whatnot. But yeah, he's making some nice passes and throws. But yeah, I don't take this team for granted. They're gonna bite you at the ankles and nip you in the butt. So I think we should win, but it's not gonna be a blowout. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, did you see? I think it was like a month or month and a half ago. It came out that Maxey took his girl. So hey, you know what
Yeah.
Remember what Mickey said, man. Women weaken legs. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Maybe Bryce Young lost his girl. Now all of a sudden he's out there, playing much better. You know what I mean?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, Maxey took his chick supposedly.
Maxey's going to be the honorary captain on the field. I heard for the
Exactly. Yeah, Maxey's gonna be like, yo, what's up? Yo, what's up, dog? How you doing, bro?
Classic.
Oh my God. I don't know, man. I mean, Carolina's been playing better, but I'm kind of, the Eagles are so red hot right now. I'm feeling, and I think the Eagles know, because after this Carolina game, I mean, yeah, there is danger of a look ahead, because after Carolina, you got Pittsburgh here, and then you got Washington down there. So, you do worry about a look ahead game, but I kind of think it's the opposite. I think the Eagles go out, take care of business, and get a nice lead. This way they could rest the starters at like the late third quarter, early fourth quarter. And it's not like obviously it's not a bye week because it's a National Football League team. But if you could get up, say you get up like a 31-10 piece or something like that, you know what I mean? Then you
nice day of rest.
You sit, jail, you see Kenny Pickett out there handing off to like Will Shipley in the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying?
About like that one game, you're right. Let these guys eat. They're football players for a reason. You know what I mean? Give them some plays and snaps.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And you definitely especially when you're 10-2 football team going for the number one seed. The last thing you want to do is mess around, possibly blow one to a shitty team like Carolina and possibly get injuries. You know what I mean? And when I think of injuries, man, I think of this guy right here, Attorney Big Al, Jason Fine, aka Attorney Big Al. My man will get you paid if you get personal injury. So it's got motor vehicle accident, slip and fall, workers' compensation, or a personal injury claim. It's got 3 offices throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey, 1 in Philadelphia, 1 in Cherry Hill, and 1 in Pittsburgh. So, I know Dallas Goedert don't got to call, and Dallas Goedert makes some good money. But, if you're out there and you slip and fall on a banana peel, or, you strain a nut or something, make sure you give that guy a call. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, Sean?
I hear you.
And no one wants to have soreness, especially down there. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
At least they'll get you paid. So anyway, all right. So yeah, I'm going to predict that the Eagles beat Carolina. I'm going to say like a 31-13.
All right.
And we're chilling.
28-14.
All right. Well, that's not that. What do you think? It's going to be somewhat close, and then they pull away in the end.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's not too much of a sweat. Hang on, I got a comment here. Paul Spencer says, "What up, gentlemen? Wow, 3 words: MVP. Saquon Barkley."
Yeah.
Hey, I'll take it, Paul. And then Paul's showing the Eagles some love. He's got 42-13 Eagles. I actually got a question for Paul because watching that Cowboys game on Thanksgiving. Now I know Paul's already written off the season, but his buddy Dave Yarnell was commenting. Oh, here's Dave Yarnell right here. Hang on, let's see what he says. Hey fellas, what's going on with Justin Tucker? Justin Tucker, he's got Ray Finkel disease,
and he made a deal with the devil.
Yeah, Justin Tucker's got just. Well, you know what? Did you see somebody? I forget. I think I saw it on TikTok. Remember in the championship game last year, where like
with the
Tucker was going over with the, or did you send it to me?
I sent it to you. Yeah.
All right, you said. All right, I know. I saw it somewhere.
Warm-ups with the Chiefs, and Kelsey kicks his ball.
Yeah.
Just smiling with that shitty ass screen. Yeah, I sent it to you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So they were basically saying he got like monstered. What was that, John? What was it, John, from oh shit, dude. What's the Michael Jordan movie with where the monsters come down, take all their talents? What is it?
Space Jam.
Space Jam. Yeah, he got Space Jammed. Yeah, he lost his ability to kick.
Yeah.
But all right, so anyway, getting back to the Dallas thing though, because I'm watching that. I wasn't watching it too intently because we were eating dinner, but the Dallas game, and I know last week Dave Yarnell was saying that he thinks Dallas could possibly make a run at the last wild card. They've won 2 in a row. I think they have like the Bengals coming up. They have a few other teams, Tampa Bay. So I know what Dave thinks, but Paul, what do you? Paul Spencer, if you're still watching, like, what do you think? Do you think that Dallas has a shot to possibly, get into wild card contention, or are you still thinking you guys are done? So we'll see. I don't know.
Dream on. Oh, Aerosmith. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Wasn't there a show on HBO years ago called Dream On?
I don't recall.
I think there was. It actually wasn't too bad. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was a sports show though, but there was a show like years ago, I think, on HBO. I think it was like the 90s or something.
Funny thing you say about the Giants Dallas game. So it's coming up to fantasy. I'm like, I got to pick a defense, man. I said, you know what? I'm going out on a limb. I'm going to pick Dallas. Dude, Dallas, I couldn't be more happier. I got 13 goddamn points from them.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Yo, Dream on. My cousin just said, yeah, there was. It was.
Oh yeah, it wasn't sports though. It was about this dude with fantasies, sexual fantasies and shit. Yeah, it says right here he's a book editor, recently divorced. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't even remember really watching. I just heard of it.
You got anything on your mind?
I know, right? Here we go. Here it said. Well, I remember Tales from the Crypt. Remember Tales of the Crypt Keeper? I used to watch that, John.
Yes.
Dream On, I honestly don't really remember. I just remember seeing it was a show. Let's see here. Paul Spencer says Dallas is once again selling Kool-Aid, and I'm not drinking it. My class is effing empty.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and Paul, I know in Paul's eyes, he's probably upset because
absolutely.
All they're doing is screwing up the draft pick, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let's talk to him a top 5 pick to maybe a top 10, but yeah. So
yeah, well, here's hoping that they like sniff the playoffs, but like don't get in, and then and then they wind up with like the sorry, Paul. I mean, I hate to do it to you. You are our boy, but like we hate the Cowboys, so I kind of hope that. Like they don't make the playoffs and like get like what would that be? Like the 14th pick or something like that, or 15th or some shit.
Yeah. Get yourself a top 20 pick,
Yeah, put them like right in the middle. This way they can't get like a top 10 talent. So go Cooper Rush, man. Get a couple more. Get some more meaningless wins for us here. Let's see.
Go Dow. Come on, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, hang on. I'm gonna look at and I want to move on. I actually want to show the Flyers a little bit of love, but like did anything else stick out to you in the league in general? Like I saw like for instance, like Washington. Hang on a second. Dave Yorno goes, in a positive note, we're 3-1 in the division.
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah. Stuck out to me in the league.
Washington bounced back. I know.
And I think Aaron Rodgers is cooked.
He's big. Oh yeah, you know what? That was one. They were up. Yeah. They were up 21-7. I think driving. He throws a pick six, changes the whole complexion of the game, and then I think he had the ball. I didn't see it, but I think he had the ball late game with a chance to tie it or win, and he didn't get it done. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is cooked. Another one is, I'll tell you what, Joe Burrow would almost be a shoo-in for the MVP, but his defense absolutely blows. Every week, Joe Burrow was out there killing it. I mean, he's on point every single week, and his defense is just like a sieve. I mean, you look at them yesterday, Pittsburgh, and here's one, Russell. I mean, all right, so how much is it Cincinnati's defense blowing or Russell Wilson? Because Russell Wilson looked like Russell Wilson again. I mean, Wilson threw 3 touchdowns yesterday? I mean, Wilson
400 yards too. Yeah.
Well, Wilson played well, but that Cincinnati defense. I mean, you talk about a team that they literally need to draft like a whole defense. You know what I mean? The only kid they got the kid Trey Hendrickson.
Luke Wilson are two guys to me that stand out on that defense.
Yeah, that defense absolutely sucks. Yeah. I mean, they really blow. Paul Spencer here with a comment. He says, "You're right, Sean. They're screwing with my draft spot next year. There goes my left tackle. LSU Campbell or Banks, Texas A&M. As long as we could stay 10-12 for Genty from Boise State." I don't know. You think Dallas? Well, Dallas could use a running back. You think Dallas would go runner in the first round?
I think like Dallas's pedigree, from Eric Williams, Nate Newton's, Snusky and all that. They're going O-line. Whether it be, and I think this draft class is heavy O-line. So, yeah. But as far as Paul's guy from LSU, you never know. Maybe he drops. Maybe somebody sees somebody else. But, yeah, so far it don't look good for him. But there's always positive wishing and thinking.
Hey, all I know is every good Dallas team I remember watching always had a great offensive line. That was actually a really good. I think it was a 30 for 30. Wasn't it called the Great Wall of Dallas or whatever?
It was something special. Eric Williams, Larry Allen was just a mammoth of a man. Not only strong, but you couldn't move his ass.
And the guy I always say that the one guy everybody talks about that offensive line. They always talk about Stepnoski, Nate Newton, Eric Williams, Larry Allen. The guy 2A was like the unsung guy. But if you think about it, he played left tackle, and left tackle back in the day. I mean, things have changed a little bit now as far as like spread offenses and shit like that. But back in the day, your left tackle had, the top edge rusher was always on the right side. So 2A had to go against the top guys every single week,
It's Reggie, man.
Well, I remember Eric Williams. Do you remember the game? I think it was like 92. We kicked their ass here on Monday night.
Yeah.
And the Eagles played them down in Dallas at Texas Stadium. And Eric Williams, I don't think I've ever seen Reggie White that mad. Eric Williams kept that was before they had the hands to the face penalty. Remember Eric Williams kept
constantly,
face?
yeah.
And like I'll tell you, Reggie White, because you know how Reggie White was such a religious guy, and like Reggie White wanted to take the strength of the good Lord and shove it up Eric Williams' ass, dude, because he wanted to kill Eric Williams, man.
Yeah, he was just being dirty, basically, but not, in that sense with that penalty. But yeah,
I know.
it was special. See that's what Dallas, that rivalry of Dallas and Eagles were. Now it's like, what do we expect?
It's
Emmett Smith, and from front to back they were good.
I know. I'm gonna break Paul. I know. I'm gonna bring it up to Paul again, because as much as I can't stand the Cowboys, I really respect that team, and we never done it, but I still want to do that old school on the '90s Cowboys. I'm gonna hold my nose, you know what I mean? But I want to do that old school because I think it's a great story, and
it is. It just is from the Eagles to Dallas, like the.
Would you want to do? Would you want to do it with me, Sean? Maybe we'll do an old school on the Cowboys. I mean, it's like I said. I mean, I know we're Eagles. We're not exactly playing to the audience here, being Philly sports fans. But just in general, though, it's just as much as I can't stand the team.
Sports in general, yeah.
They were a great story, and they changed the complexion of the draft. I mean, I remember being a kid, and like the late '80s. The draft would be on, but like it didn't have the coverage. The NFL draft became the bonanza and has the coverage that it does, in part, in my opinion, because of the Herschel Walker trade, and that Herschel Walker trade, and then Dallas was the first team to have the War Room Cam. Jerry Jones was a new owner. They had the War Room Cam. And football fans were fascinated to see what Dallas would do with all them picks. You know what I mean? So you would go in and like ESPN would have the camera and you'd see like Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson. And then they would do the stories on, they made this trade. And I mean, shit, Jimmy Johnson's the one that made the friggin' draft trade chart. Every team follows it now. You know what I'm talking about? Like the point system for trades and shit.
Yeah. Michael Irvin, who else? Who was their tight end?
What's that?
Who was their tight end, man? He not Witten.
Well, it was Jay Novacek, but they actually got Jay Novacek on Plan B free agency. That was before free agency. I think Jay Novacek
came from the Cardinals, right?
Came from the Cardinals. Yeah, they got him. I think he was like Plan B because back then they didn't before they had the court case with like Reggie White and all in like '92. It was just the Plan B free agency. Like I remember, and it used to piss me off because remember the Eagles had Norman Brayman was the owner and he was cheap as shit. He used to make the players buy their own socks.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So like. Norman Brayman was cheap as shit, and that's there's a guy not to I know owners don't get credit a lot of times for like success of football teams or whatever, and of course Howie Roseman could possibly be like executive of the year, you know what I mean? Because look at his offseason. I mean Jesus, dude, like look at Howie Roseman slated in the draft, slated in free agency, But guess what, though, dude? Howie Roseman can't be Howie Roseman without having a good owner like Jeffrey Lurie. And, like, you look at the success the Eagles have had, really since Jeffrey Lurie bought this football team. I mean, the Eagles have been a top 5 team in the NFL in the last 30 years. I mean, and, like think about it, dude. Like, we're bringing up memories of like the Cowboys from the '90s and like, what Jerry Jones did and all this stuff. But, ever since the Cowboys won their last Super Bowl, I mean, the Eagles have been a much more successful franchise. You know what I mean? And Jeff Lurie deserves some credit for that. I mean, the guy spends the money, he puts the money out there. I think one of the reasons the Eagles are so successful is like the way they structure contracts. And I forget who was saying it. It was either Adam Schefter was on like Kincaid or something one morning, but like he was basically saying that Laurie should get some credit because he spends a lot of money up front as far as these contracts where some of these owners don't want to do that shit.
Yeah, and we have such a great culture. It's like almost like one big family, like a winning program, you know. And you can see it on and off the field, you know, with his Eagles autism, how big that is near and dear to his heart because his brother has autism. But just overall, like you said, for an owner, he's just that guy that, you know, wants to spend the money and to win the games.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, imagine if like one of us like lucked out and got like tons and tons of money and was able to buy a football team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'd want to win. You know what I mean? You know what's funny though? I probably have to watch myself and make sure I didn't pull like a Daniel Snyder in that, John. Because remember Daniel Snyder Daniel Snyder. I mean, he spent money, but he spent money like a drunken sailor. You know what I mean? Like he didn't know what the hell he was doing. Like he went out there and bought like Deion Sanders when he was like 100 years old, couldn't run no more. And then he went out and spent like like 100 million or something on Albert Hainsworth.
Yeah, that was the worst. I just was going to say that. Yeah.
No, you know what I always remember him? The Monday night game in 2010 where the Eagles went down there and kicked their ass. It was like Michael Vick's like great. It might have been, you know what's funny? That game Michael Vick played that Monday night might have been like the best I've ever seen a quarterback look for one game.
Yeah.
He was like unbelievable. We kicked their ass. It was like 45 to like, or no, I think we scored like 55 points or something. Like it was crazy. But one of the plays I remember, because like Albert Hainsworth was making so much money, and there was like one play where Vic was scrambled around and someone like knocked Hainsworth on the ground, and his fat ass was so lazy, dude. He didn't even get up. He literally like laid on the freaking ground. I remember.
Dead whale. I remember that. Yeah.
Dude, I remember sitting there thinking like, damn, dude, like if I was the owner and I paid this dude, like I'd want to cut his ass like immediately. Like he made so much money. He was such a piece of shit.
He was the Andrew Bynum of the Washington Redskins.
Oh, dude, friggin' the dude. I mean, the dude, and you know what's he was so good in Tennessee, and then the minute he got that paycheck, all of a sudden he was like, all right, I'm
not anymore. I'm good.
Yeah, he was like sitting there like on the sidelines, just like sucking a lollipop, like, well, you know what I mean? Like I got my coin, dog. You know.
Curious to know what he's up to now.
I don't know, man. He got a lot of paper though.
Yeah.
You know, like Eddie Murphy said, man, he didn't have to make, what was that saying? He didn't have to make ends meet. The ends were meeting like an MFer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but all right. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the league, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Here's one. Let's make a prediction real quick. Thursday night, Green Bay, Detroit. I think Detroit's like favored 3.5. What do you think? You think the Packers could do us a solid, or do you think Detroit stays red hot?
Where's it at?
It's in Detroit. Now their first game was in Green Bay. I think Detroit won. I forget. I think that game went down. I think that game went right down to the wire, but I could be wrong.
Nail biter, 31-28. We get Green Bay winning.
All right, from your lips to God's ears, because the Eagles need it. You know what? I got it. As good as Detroit is, I got it. And Green Bay is playing some really good ball. I mean, Green Bay's red hot right now too. I got a feeling Detroit's due for an L. You know, as good as they've been playing. I mean, shoot, what were they? They won the first game. I think Tampa beat them in week 2, and they've won like 9 straight games or something like that.
Yeah, all good things come to an end for them, Joey.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I have a feeling that I got a feeling the Pack's going to do us a favor.
Yeah.
And you know what's ironic with that is that, like, you know, everybody's just assuming that Detroit's going to win that division. But if you look, Minnesota's only got 2 losses too. So all of a sudden, if Green Bay wins this game on Thursday, That gives Detroit a second loss, and Minnesota only has 2 losses. Now I know Detroit beat them in Minnesota before, but Minnesota goes to Minnesota goes to Detroit still. So they're it's not a shoo-in that Detroit's definitely going to win that division. I mean, they still got to do some work.
Absolutely.
Whereas if you look in the Eagles division, even with Washington winning yesterday, I mean, I know we play Washington one more time, but the Eagles with a 3-game lead, plus already winning one head-to-head. I mean, the Eagles, barring a collapse like last year, which I guess I should knock on wood. You know what I mean? Or barring a collapse like last year, the Eagles really should have this NFC East locked up in a few weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like that last year was a bad taste in their mouth. I don't think they want to start off or repeat of what they did last year. So
yeah. What do you, before we move on, what do you think of tonight's game? We got Cleveland at Denver. I think last I saw, I think Denver's favored by 6 or 6.5. Who do you think wins the game, and who do you think covers?
Denver and Denver.
Denver covers?
Yeah.
All right, good. I'm hoping, because I had a free FanDuel bet. I did a parlay. I had a free FanDuel bet. I could cash out for 140, or let it ride. But I only have I don't need the points. I have Denver money line, or let it ride for 250. And I'm tempted to cash it out, but I think I'm going to let it ride, because I feel pretty confident in Denver. I feel like they're at least going to win the game.
Portland Sutton, and their defense is playing good. Yeah, go with it, baby.
How about Bo Nix, man? Like his last few games, Bo Nix, like 12. I forget what I just saw, but they posted up here like 12 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I mean, there's a guy I think I was kind of wrong on. Like, I remember when they took him, I didn't really love Bo Nix coming out of college, but he's really developing into something. He looks like he could be pretty good.
Yeah, he's older than half these rookie quarterbacks. He is kind of old in age up there. I think he's 26 maybe. But yeah, he just plays Sean Payton's system perfectly,
Yeah, they just showed. Yeah, I mean, I don't buy a lot of this bullshit, because there's different teams, but Cleveland's 2-7 against the spread last 9 Monday night games.
That can always change. Exactly.
I don't buy that, because sometimes they put up them stats and it'll be like, oh, this team's like 11-1, and when it's windy and there's a snowflake, and like
then the lake, when it's warm out. Don't believe the hype.
Yeah, I know Howard Eskin has a dude on Saturday. Sometimes I'm driving around running errands on Saturday mornings, and Eskin has that guy. I think his name's like Mark Lawrence, and like he always has these stats, and he'll be like, the guy. He'll be like, Jacksonville, the quarterback gets a twinge in his right ball, and like and that means that they're going to cover 6. You know what I mean? I'm like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah. Go with your gut. That's all I gotta say. Go with your gut.
Yeah. So, all right. You know what? Like I could talk football all night. Especially this time of year. Let's get a little. Forget this. You know what? I can't. We could rip the Sixers every single show. I don't feel like getting into the Sixers. The only thing I'll say is like, I mean,
good luck with the rest of your games. That's all you guys say, dude.
Yeah, and like,
don't waste your breath.
I just want to say one thing. Is Joel Embiid, like, can he walk? Because like I just saw it popped up on my phone. He's out again tomorrow night for like injury management. Like, come on, dude. Like what's up with this cat, man? Well, just like what I'm thinking is like they're gonna play this bullshit like another week or two, and then it'll come out where he's gonna like miss like a few months or sit out the year. Like just rip the Band-Aid off already. We're tired of it.
Exactly. I could give 2 shits.
Yeah, I know. I'm done. All right, that's enough Sixers talk. All right.
Oh,
Flyers.
Flyers.
The Flyers, because
That's all I have to say.
At least the Flyers star players actually play the game. But dude, Michkov's unreal, bro. Michkov's killing it.
Dude. He loves overtime. That's all I gotta say. I got him and Konechny in fantasy hockey. You know, like my boy said, get rid of Embiid.
Get rid of Embiid,
guys. The porcelain doll.
They can't get rid of him though until at least after this year. So.
Well, did you see the thing I sent you? Would you do the thing to Miami?
What for Bam, Tyler Hero in a first round pick?
Do.
I would drive him to Miami. I would get in the car and drive him to Miami. Here's a comment here based on what Paul Spencer said. TJ, what's that? What's that say? Pucaselli says, don't worry about it, Paul. The Cowboys are all in.
But yeah, like the Flyers, man, Michkov, he's just something special. The kid loves to give assists. He loves scoring in the overtime. You know, nothing better than that, man. And they're just good.
Yeah, the only problem with the Cowboys is they're all in about as far as George Costanza would have been with the shrinkage. Remember the episode with him in the pool? That's how far the Cowboys get in, dude. They ain't getting too far.
Yeah.
Here we go. I got a comment here. Dion Brown says Sixers should try to tank and pray for a top lottery pick, which they won't get. Shaking my head.
Yeah.
Totally 100 million% agree with you, Dion. In fact, I've been saying that because, like, you know, even if they get into the playoffs, they're not going to do shit. I mean, the bottom line is, and this draft is like really, really deep. I mean, you got the kid from Duke. What's that flag? But there's other guys too. You got the kid, what is it? I think Ace Bailey, I think, is one of the kids. He's like a 6'10" power forward, could really shoot the ball. You got the Dylan Harper. Sean, were you saying, is that Ron Harper's son?
I think it is, yeah.
Well, whatever. I mean, whoever he is, he's pretty good. So they really should tank because this team's going nowhere. Yeah,
absolutely, Dion. Couldn't agree more.
But all right, so getting back to the Flyers, though, Flyers are playing good hockey. You know, they had a huge, a huge win on Friday versus the Rangers, which I mean, hey, Rangers are a good hockey team. I know they're not. Rangers haven't really started off that great, but the Rangers, you know, based off of last year, you know, good hockey team. They beat them. Nice win on Saturday night at St. Louis. Michkov had a big goal in overtime. Flyers are getting some good goaltending. Michkov's playing really well. Your boy Travis Konechny's playing well, Sean.
Yeah.
TK's playing well. So, you know,
Couturier, too. Don't forget about him, you know.
Couturier is starting to, you know, I mean, we were kind of worried that maybe his career was kind of in jeopardy with his back, but he's starting to play good hockey. And, you know, looking at this team, I mean, last 10 games, Flyers are 7-2-1. They've won 3 in a row. You know, you got, you know, I got to give the coach some credit, man. I mean, because this team's in rebuilding mode. And, you know, unlike the Sixers, when the Sixers tanked, I mean, these guys are playing, you know, they seem to bring it every night. And, you know, playoffs are within reach. I mean, you know, so so, you know, obviously it's way too early to say, because I mean, last year they had a shot at the playoffs too, and they kind of went in the tank at the end. But you know, it's at least encouraging to be able to put on. You know what it is? It's encouraging to put on a game and actually watch your star players play. Like, unlike the Sixers, where you're just like, who the hell is playing?
Like pulling names out of a hat, you know, like who's going to play, who's not, you know. It's frustrating, you know, as like us as Philly fans. But yeah. So.
Yeah, the only thing, I mean, I don't read too much into this, but you know, you wonder if the Flyers are kind of doing it with mirrors, only at the fact that, like, you know, they're 12-10-3. They've been on a little bit of a hot streak, but goal differential, they're still -10, which is mostly. I mean, the only other team that's in a playoff spot right now with a worse goal differential is the Boston Bruins. The Bruins also have 27 points. They're 12, 11, and 3, and they're -16.
Wow.
That's surprising because the Bruins are usually a pretty good hockey team,
Say that, yeah.
So, but let's just look ahead for the Flyers here. So, Flyers on Thursday night, they host the Florida Panthers, the world champion Panthers. Now, the Panthers are 15-9-1. They have 31 points, so they're in first place in the Atlantic Division.
Yeah.
So that's a tough game. Then Saturday, they're at Boston, which it's always tough to win in Boston. And then they have Sunday, they host the Utah hockey team. Who the hell were they? Was that the Phoenix team?
Coyotes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
To see something that, go to a waste. Yeah. Phoenix Coyotes they were.
Well, they had to move out of Phoenix. I mean, they couldn't even pay their bills. Like they were like straight up broke and shit.
Yeah. Shame. But yeah.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine you work your whole life to be like an NHL player and you go to a team that's like broke and shit? Like, can you imagine? Like, you're like, damn, dude, like, where's my check coming from?
Yeah. Now you're in Utah where you're probably freezing your couillons off from Phoenix to Utah.
I know, right?
So,
all right. So
yeah.
How do the Flyers do? Host Florida.
Loss.
Okay, at Boston.
I'm going to say shockingly they win.
No, it's not that. I mean, they're even in points. And then how about Sunday? You host Utah.
Win.
All right, so that would be a 4 out of a possible 6 points.
Hey, it's better than nothing, right?
Okay, I'll take that. You know what? I'm right there. I'm right there with you, bro. I say they get a 4 out of the. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say they get 5 out of 6. That they have the in hockey the all important shootout loss where you get the point.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take that. So I'll say 5. I'll say 5 out of 6. You say 4 out of 6. Either way, that keeps them playing well. So that would put them at if I'm right, they would have 32 points by the time we're on here again. And if you're right, they're 31. But either way, you know what's funny about hockey too? Like looking at these standings, like everybody's so bunched up.
Yeah.
Like the Atlantic Division, you got Florida with 31 points, Toronto with 30, Bruins with 27, Lightning with 26. Like even the shittiest team, like the Senators blow. They got 22 points. They're only like 4 points behind the Lightning.
Wow, how about that?
You know what that is? I think that I think maybe hockey should get away from that, like getting a point for losing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like get away from that bullshit. I mean, not like.
Yeah, I know.
If you lose, like then you don't get shit. Like you just lose. And then maybe this crap wouldn't be so bunched up.
Or we'll give you a participation trophy. We'll give you a little sticker or a medal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd be cool with that because, like, you look at this right here, it's like overtime losses, like 3 overtime losses. Like Flyers got 3 overtime losses. All right, well that's 3 points. Like, I mean, hey, I'll take it. It's the rules, but honestly, like, maybe get rid of that, and then you start getting some separation where like not every team's like separated by like a point.
True.
I don't know. Whatever. I'm not exactly, I guess I'm not Mr. Hockey. You know what I mean?
No, not at all, brother. Eagles all day.
Nah, I do. I am happy the Flyers are playing well. And you know what, though? You know what's funny, though? When I first started watching sports, the Flyers were actually like my first love because that was the 86-87 team that lost to Edmonton. That was like the first year I ever watched sports. So I loved that team.
Really, mine was the Eagles. Forget what game, but yeah.
So, well, yeah. Let's hope the Flyers keep playing well.
Yeah.
just to top off the Sixers here, before we get out of here, Sixers have 4 games this week.
Okay,
If anybody actually cares, like I said, I'm in must-lose mode. So tomorrow night they're at Charlotte.
loss.
Yeah, and while Charlotte's 6-14, they've lost 5 in a row, so they may sneak a win in there. Then you got Wednesday they host Orlando here, and Friday they host Orlando here. Now Orlando's 15-7. They've won 6 in a row, 9-1 in their last 10, and they've been doing that without the I think the kids from Brazil, Powell. I can't Ranchero or something. You say his name?
Yeah.
Well, he's like one of their best players. But that kid Wagner has been killing it for Orlando. So what do you think? Wednesday Orlando here and Friday Orlando here. How do they do there?
Loss.
God, I hope so. And then Sunday at the Bulls. The Bulls are. God, who the hell would have thought you know what's so disappointing about the Sixers? Like, I was the last few years, like we were clowning the Bulls because like the Bulls were sneaking the playoffs, like, and they were like, dude, you guys blow, like, why don't you just tank? And now the Bulls are like better. The Bulls are friggin' 4 games better than the Sixers. They're 8-13. They've lost. They're 4-6 in their last 10. They've lost 2 in a row. That's at Chicago Sunday. How the Sixers doing? Are they winning that, John?
Nope. Loss. So 0-4.
All right, thank God. All right, here I got another comment here. Jazz Cruz says Peter Zezel, Rick Tocchet, Mark Hale, Ron Hextall, Dave Poulin. That team was stacked. Yeah, that team was great, man. Tim, dude, Brian Propp. I used to love Tim Kerr, man. Tim Kerr was like the man on the power play. Yeah. And you know what was so great about that team in '87? Like, by the time they played the finals, like, they took that Edmonton team to Game 7, and like, dude, like, Tim Kerr was like hurt. Like, Tim Kerr was like their best goal scorer. He was hurt. They had, I think Dave Poulin was playing with like broken ass ribs. Like,
he was with old groin or torn groin. Yeah, somebody was.
They had like everything torn. Like, that's the thing about hockey players, man. Like, hockey players are like hockey. You know what hockey players are like, dude? They're like Jason and Michael Myers. Like, they just keep coming, dude. You know what I mean? Like you put a big ass hit on a hockey player, like, he could sit there and like lose all his teeth not even care. You know what I'm saying?
What about the one dude? The one dude got slashed with a skate, stitched him up back in.
Hey, hang on. Dion Brown says it's football season. No one cares about the Sixers. I mean, I'm 4-for-4 guy, 46 years young. This town again. No one cares. I hear you, Dion. Well, that's why I think we spent like the first 45 minutes talking about the Eagles, right?
All day, baby. Yeah,
all day, pretty much this time of year. My man Bob Hartnett says Kerr would stand in front of the net and no one can move him. Yeah, he was great on the power play. You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to do an old school on that 80s on that Flyers team, bro. Would you want to do that? You know what? We should do that.
Yeah. Dave Brown, my man.
Except not just that team though. Maybe like the whole Mike Keenan era. Maybe we'll break down like the whole like Mike Keenan era as far as like, because like when Keenan came here, it was 84, 85. They had like Pelly Lindbergh and they lost to Edmonton. We got our ass kicked. But then when we played them 2 years later, they took them to 7.
That's right, Dion. Keep it rolling, Flyers. Yeah.
Let's see. Got another comment. Back-to-back fine. Yeah, the Flyers were tough back then, man. We need that back. Bob Hartnett, second best captain in Flyers history, Dave Poulin. You know another thing I like about Dave Poulin, Sean?
Yeah.
Even we're Notre Dame football, but Dave Poulin, he was Notre Dame guy, yeah.
And also, funny fact, my cousin babysat his kids.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. When was that the cousin that went to Notre Dame?
No. My cousin Janet. No.
Oh.
Yeah.
What? Oh, so your cousin must be older then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because Dave Poole. Yeah, all right. Because I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, yeah, that was like the
Yeah.
80s, you know?
Nah, my cousin Janet. Yeah. Funny thing.
I actually found I actually on eBay a couple years ago, I found an old school Dave Poulin jersey, dude. It's actually like my favorite it's my favorite Flyers jersey that I got. So like if next time I go to a Flyers game, I think I'm gonna rock that, John.
You got it. Don't be like this guy in my work. He has a Le Cavier jersey. Come on.
Nah, I can't rock that, dude. I mean, if I was a Lightning fan, I would rock the Cavier jersey. But LeCavier, he was, you know what? He was like the classic example, like what the Flyers do a lot of times, where they sign a dude. Like
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, Ed Snyder was such a great owner, and he did so many things well. But like at the end, it was almost like they looked at dudes' names and like thought they never aged. Like, remember the Flyers traded for like Adam Oates, and everybody was like people were like, "Oh, they got Adam Oates." Meanwhile, he got here, dude. He sucked. He was like 20. He was like way past his prime. You know what I mean? Like the Flyers have been known for that shit.
Primo.
Well, Primo was good though, bro. Remember that 04 series versus Tampa Bay? Like that playoff series he had versus Tampa Bay in 04, that was like one of the best series I think I've ever seen an individual dude have playing hockey. Like he was housing motherfuckers, dog.
Yeah. He was on.
You know? So, but damn, you know what? Now I want to do a Flyers old school show. You know what, dude? Fuck it. I'm bringing it back, dude. I'm bringing it back, bro.
All right.
Let's see. Jazz Cruz says Coffee and Yager still had gas in the tank. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially Yager. Yager was great that
Yager
year.
retired from the Euro League. That tells you something. Like, god damn.
I think Yager is going to be playing till he's like in his 80s. Like Yager will straight up like die at the rink, dude. I think that's how he wants to go.
Like the TO of ice hockey.
Dude, he is, bro.
He is.
He still could beat people's ass today.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
You know?
It's amazing.
Yeah, he was literally so good. He was so good for us that year. I think it was like 2012, the year the Flyers beat Pittsburgh, and then the Devils beat us. But like Yager was so good that year, and especially versus Pittsburgh. I think remember we were up like 3-0 against Pittsburgh, and like Yager was crushing it.
Yeah, he was a smooth ass skater, dude. He can glide. But yeah, so.
Yeah, well, that's on the agenda. I want to do that show. I'm gonna have to get off my butt and start working on that, dude.
What?
I want to do that. So
what?
the Cowboys one. I mean, hey, it's not as fun because I don't like the Cowboys, but I actually already did all the research on that one. I did that last year. We just never did the show.
Yeah.
So that's an easy one.
Yeah.
So, but anyway. All right, well, let's get ready to wrap. Let's get ready to wrap up here before I start reliving memories of before I start reliving like every childhood memory. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
I know. Sean, we'll start reminiscing about Conley Playground. You know, hey, remember back in the day? You know what I mean?
Dude, we never left that basketball court. Sun up to sundown, you know it. And if I wasn't eating dinner at your house, I was going down to my house and back at it again, man. I remember the one time, real quick, we were 7-0. We were played in the afternoon all the way to the evening. And we had a stacked squad, too, for basketball. Half of them played college ball, went on to play college ball.
Yeah, remember the Whitworth kids. The Whitworth kids, I think, both played at Drexel.
No, one played at Drexel. The other one played at Textile.
Oh, that's what it was. You know what's funny? Me and Johnny Teach used to play. We used to play them too. We used to play them either two. No, it wasn't both of them 2-on-2. We used to play. I think it was Tom, and then like this kid. What was his name, dude? There was a kid. I think Sean Moriarty. Remember that kid?
Sean Moriarty.
I think that was his name. He was pretty good too. I think it was him. But anyway, yeah, we used to play like 2-on-2, and they would be like friggin' wars, man. We had so much fun. But ironically, me and Johnny acted like it was like Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Meanwhile, they probably didn't give a shit. You know what I mean? But it was just funny though, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny. It's funny the things you remember. You know what I mean when you get older.
Yeah. Dude, it was. And even playing tackle football up in the field, man. You can't catch me today playing. No thanks.
Yeah, I remember Sean McGuire like trucked somebody one time. I think it was like a Monday night. I think Dallas was playing like Detroit was playing Dallas, and I think we played, and then like a bunch of you guys came into my house, and we watched Barry Sanders versus Emmitt Smith. It was like, you know, that's the things you remember. But all right, anyway, let's get out of here. I got to eat some dinner, so let's get out of here. But anyway, once again, hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Go Eagles, go Flyers. Hope maybe the Phillies will make some moves. We'll see. I mean, you know, baseball moves at a snail's pace. I mean, you know, any more, it seems like dudes don't sign till like right before spring training. So we'll see what happens there. And Sixers, let's play for lottery balls, baby.
Go Birds. Come on.
Go Birds. See y'all. Have a good week.